Okay, should I start? Well, today is Thursday, June 15th, 2023, and we're here with Ted Lindeman, who is a 50-plus member of First Congregational Church. And so, Ted, by the way, I'm Kathy, his wife. Yeah. Anyway, so Ted, we've been talking about, you're remembering your first time that you came to First Congregational, and I understand that you and your family moved back to Colorado Springs when your dad got a position at Penrose Hospital as a doctor. And so that was back in 1956 or so.
Yes.
When you were in kindergarten.
Mm-hmm.
So you probably don't remember a lot of those years, but what do you remember from those early years?
Oh, goodness. There were not much is the short answer.
Okay. Well, I do know that your mom was very active in the church, and she was selected to be Mary in 1959.
59.
Do you remember her being Mary?
I remember her being Mary. That was a big deal.
It was a big deal.
And her. I think all of her kids were.
They all clustered up there
near
the stable,
right?
At your mom, with your mom.
Many photos were taken.
I'm sure. Yes.
Marys aren't that common.
Okay, so when you were a youngster, you probably played a part in the children's choir, or at least the youth choir. Weren't you part of Marti Booth's group?
I think I was in Marti Booth's children's choir. On the basis of some gift I didn't earn, in terms of pitch
Oh, you always had a beautiful tenor voice. Come on.
And you're completely unbiased.
Unbiased completely. Okay, well, so you probably went to Sunday school. Do you remember any of the Sunday school teachers that you had?
Well, I'm trying to remember the buildings that housed this congregation were different.
Oh, okay.
If this is wrong, I'm going to have to go home and read. But
so the Ed building wasn't built yet, do you think, or
was in the process?
Okay.
I am embarrassed not to have the details, but
That's okay. You were little.
Yeah.
But did the church have that wonderful silver roof at that time? It used to be called the Hershey Kiss Church.
If it didn't, I've got myself all mixed up. I think that has been there longer than me.
Okay.
So, pretty old.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's speed up a little bit. When you were in high school and college, you were one of the major parts of the choir. Is that true?
Well, yes.
You and your mom were the tenor section, I believe.
Yes, I went to college where my parents met. An easy walk down here to join the choir with them decades after the college. Yeah, that was a convenient.
And that was a big part of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the mystery has always been a big thing in your family, or at least in our family. Do you have any idea how many times you've been a shepherd and a king? You were probably recruited pretty young, I would guess.
I think you're right about that, but the number of times I've stood there and held the stick and waited for a cue for some modest singing, I can't attach exact numbers to that.
That's okay. Okay, well, college or grad school took you away for a few years.
Off to
Northern Ithica to find
me. Took me to you, so
and,
that was...
that was important.
Yes.
And then, but before, you were actually married in this church, your first wife.
True, and it was an unwise marriage.
But we're not going to hold that against the church, right?
But just unwise. How we managed to convince ourselves that this was compatibility I don't know.
Well, that's okay.
Neither of us was criminal, but we didn't have a whole lot of interests in common. And didn't make any babies, so life was. I mean,
that was simpler.
Really,
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so well, we met in Ithica and got married when you came back here for postdoc, right?
Right, but not to here.
We didn't get married in this church.
To Boulder.
But
yes.
we were in Boulder for a couple of years, and but after that, we came back to live in Colorado Springs in the early '80s, when you got you were invited to become a professor at CC, your dream job.
Yes.
And we brought up our family here, and oftentimes you were asked to be part of the children's message.
Yes, that's a fact.
Was that because you could blow things up?
I don't think I ever blew anything up, but I believe I recall over those years some freedom to bring a couple indicators down from the storage room only a few blocks north, and do a minor miracle, No big claims. But
okay.
What might
chemical
seem
magic.
Yes.
But it was always related to God or religion.
Yes.
Yes.
In a sincere, if not fully successful way. But
and you also you took part in some summer Bible school classes, or at least you were Dr. Science for a while with Dell, weren't you?
That's right. Yeah.
And the kids they wanted you to turn pennies to gold. You did a lot of that, didn't you?
Well, yeah. If you have access to silver nitrate, you can do some things.
Yeah.
But.
And we're still in the choir.
Yes.
You're still singing tenor.
More fun than ever. Get to stand next to a tenor with perfect pitch.
Oh, that helps. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you've been on the council a couple of times, haven't you?
I believe that's correct. I couldn't tell you the years, but I think that's true.
Right.
I'm maybe a kind of a rascal, but I'm capable of sobering up and pondering deep matters. I think. Yeah. Not a full-time joker.
So what do you feel is, the First Congregational has been a part of your life forever. Your grandfather was a congregational minister, and
yes,
your father came here even while he was in college.
Mm-hmm.
And so there was really no chance we'd go anywhere else when we first moved back.
Well,
this was home.
Yeah, I think that's true, and there's nothing to regret. I'm going to declare, but some physical things have changed. For
the better.
I would love to have sort of a photographic memory of the several square blocks that stretch from here up to, the student union at CC now, I guess it would be.
And how about friends? We were trying to remember if there was anybody here that you grew up with and are still here, and we did think of Lynn Stefanik. She goes way back, right?
I think that's true.
The Murrays and.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Goodness.
And I do remember weren't you on the committee as a youth member to hire Jerry Jordan?
Yes, we gave a lot of thought to Jerry Jordan's jelly jar. Right. And I can remember some considerable enthusiasm about the almost certain prospect that he would accept an offer, and we would have this liveliness among us for least a few decades or whatever.
Oh, and he was famous for his brown bag
Oh,
children's
yes.
messages.
But he didn't. But he didn't offend. Seemingly did not offend students. Parents. Didn't,
Oh, right. No.
So finding that balance, I think, is impressive.
Big talent,
But we
yeah.
witnessed it with our own eyes.
Well, and then during Jim White's tenure, he often would ask you about science, wouldn't he? And sometimes he got it right.
Yes, right. It didn't have to be every time, but I think he knew there was only one chemist in the congregation.
Or one that he could count on.
Yeah, or something like that.
Oh, another thing that we were part of, the Congo Bongos. Do you remember the softball team?
Who
would
dreamed
forget?
up Congo Bongo?
Well, at one point there were two teams. At first we were the Congos, and then when we split into two teams, we had to be the Congos and the Bongos. But
Just
we had a
obvious.
bunch of fun people organizing that. I mean, I remember George Garang and
A real athlete.
yeah.
Besides a solid.
And there was a time when the Lindemans covered the outfield. You, me, and Ian were out there trying to catch fly balls
Yep.
and running around like crazy. And
And-
Bill Polson was our pitcher at one time.
Yeah, and he was pretty good.
Oh, he was
Pretty
good.
dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a hard time catching those balls.
Zoop. Right.
And
you mean before, not after they were hit?
right?
'Cause-
No, I was the
yeah,
catcher at that
right,
point.
okay,
Yes.
yeah.
And then Lynn Gustafson, he was a pitcher for a while too.
Yeah, I recall wondering considerably. Boy, some of my friends got a lot more practice playing serious ball in presumably high school than which I
Yeah.
compared to zero for.
Well, it
for
was
me.
helpful to have some ringers on the team.
Yeah,
we
those
did. We
ringers.
did have some winning seasons.
Even if they were on the shoulders of only 3 or 4 all stars.
Yeah. But it was a great generational thing because we had the teenagers would come
yeah,
out
it was-
and
it
we
was
had
jolly.
great fun.
Yeah.
So is there anything else that you, any feelings you have about the church that you would like to talk about? Any stories you can think of?
Oh, let me see.
Oh, you weren't there when one of the kings swallowed his beard, were you?
Well, if
Oh,
I
you
wasn't,
probably
I
were a
heard
shepherd.
the story.
Okay.
I mean, I think I actually was within sort of, let's say, spitting distance of that.
Oh, it was either
event,
Jack
but
Rozier or his father, wasn't it?
It might have been the elder.
Of course, you never wore your glasses while you were walking, so you were blind all the time when you were
Well,
being a shepherd.
I think you're right. I'm pretty sure that we were eager to avoid anachronism, and so these spent the 20, 30 minutes on a shelf downstairs. And, well, not exactly these, less strong.
But you never knew who Mary was because you could never see, right?
Oh, right. So the mystery part, I
Was always a
I was
mystery.
the model audience, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whew. Oh, gosh. Whew. Let's see. Am I halfway through one of your questions?
Oh, well, I was. Let's see. What do you most value about this church?
I think, well, to me, amazing is the durability of its. I don't want this to sound like a big deal. I mean, but it's stuck by the mission. I mean, I really think it's theologically it is. I think. Keeping its eyes open and so on, probably as as well as my granddad did, and he was good. I wish I'd actually seen him preach more times, but I did get to see him somewhere near his peak, and so that this sense of continuity it's not UCC, it's Congregational, but I don't think that's a distinction we're being fussy about, is it?
Not anymore.
No. Okay. Whew. Let's see.
Music?
Music-wise, yeah. For as long as I can recall, this organization has been very strong on music. I mean, the personalities and so on have evolved. The people of choir directors have had long careers, and then decided it's time to call that a career, and then that's going to guarantee changes, but not enough to throw the whole organization off kilter. Haven't had to rebuild the front end, or I don't think I'm exaggerating. It's just occurring to me that that amazing, terrifying organ up there is a really important part of this history, and I'm trying to figure out how much I do or don't know about that.
Oh, well,
But it's old.
Oh, it is, yeah. And
probably
famous. And
Oh, yeah.
one of the few this side of the Mississippi, I think.
The Mississippi was the divider. Okay, yeah. So that's an acoustic sermon right there, by golly.
Well, and
You
the
just
sermons have
sit
been good
down
too, right?
Yeah, they have indeed.
We're always, yes.
Not to mark them down, but sitting to the end of the service, let everybody else go to their cars. I'm going to sit here and get full benefit out of the marvelously talented person up front playing that awesome instrument, which we somehow have managed to afford to maintain.
Yeah, it's just been refurbished, so yeah.
Oh, yes. Glad that can be done.
Yep.
Those devices they're exciting to look at and more exciting to hear, but you don't get to find all the facts about it.
Oh, we've had tours.
Yep. Oh, yes, and that probably should be an annual thing. Maybe it has been.
One other thing I've forgotten. Do you remember when we started the Madrigal?
The Madrigal.
I think you were typecast at that point.
I believe I was
And you've
too.
been the joker or the jester ever since.
Yeah, typecasting. That was a big deal. I never found out who the committee was, but some committee decided we ought to do this thing. This is a thing that happens elsewhere at other churches.
It was our choir director, Mary Dyer, at that point.
Who was terrific.
She was terrific.
But she learned.
Well, she had it.
We
some
could
other places.
hire. Essentially,
she
hire
borrowed
some pros.
costumes, and that first year, and we used a script that took us forever. Do you remember? It was like we were serving dinner at 10 o'clock that night or something. It was just...
Yeah, it wasn't a highly efficient food distribution
but we've gotten
project.
Better. Yes.
Right. Yeah. Whew. But
that was another wonderful generational thing. Our kids got to be in it, and, you know... We drew in people from CC and lots of great musicians. There's so many talented people in this church.
True. Some of whom are choosing to show us that
Oh, yeah.
all the time,
They're very
and
generous.
others
Yeah.
who modestly have talents. We can occasionally talk them into sharing. But
Yeah.
yeah, whew. Gosh, what a place! Well, that place it cheapens it, of course.
Well,
But what
it's a comfortable home, yes?
yeah, and it's a continuity of people over the years. I think I can get away with saying no two alike, no repeats as the years roll
And
by.
you became a member at confirmation, right?
Yeah, so I think that was a fairly conventional.
Yeah, and that was what, like in 8th, 9th grade?
I'll take that number. Yeah, I think that was about right.
Yeah.
It might have been, it might have been 6th, but I think
That's a little early,
later.
I think.
Yeah, yeah.
Any other stories you can think of or feelings you have about this place?
Well, not a whole book full, but
What-
go
Is
ahead.
there some advice you'd give to a future member of this church?
Oh. I think there is. Stay till the end
Of the service.
And I mean the end of what's going to be a great piece of music delivered by a brilliant organist, whoever that may be. But it is negligible. That is a big deal, and I hope we don't cheapen the whole thing by making a material gadget. Well, it's more than material. It's a gift from God, and some very gifted people who we don't get to know. But boy, they knew what they were doing.
Yeah.